Good evening, everyone. The hour being after 5:30, I'd like to call the Tuesday, January 14th, Walpole School Building Committee meeting to order. This is a hybrid meeting. There are people both in person and remote. Any members of the public with questions or comments can email mmortali@walpole.k12.ma.us or middleschoolproject.k12.ma.us. Our first order of business is approval of meeting minutes. Do we have any questions or comments about the meeting minutes? Hearing none, I take a motion to approve.
I'll move.
I have a motion from Mr. Fisher. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second for Mr. Fisher. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Frisha,
Yes.
Dr. Kenny,
Abstain.
Ms. Gallivan,
Yes.
Ms. Gaositz. Ms. Gaositz? We'll get
Yes.
back. Very good. Dr. Goff,
Yes.
Jeff Fisher, Jack Fisher,
Yes.
Dr. Hahn,
Yes.
Mr. Senek,
Yes.
and I vote yes. It is a vote. Our next order of business is the project status update. Over to you, Kate.
So I'll pass this along to Griffin at Fontaine. There's not much to update, but just checking in on where we are this winter.
Yep. Thanks, Kate. Yeah, as you mentioned, not too much of an update here. We were able to take advantage of the holiday break, so we got some subs in there to handle some punch list items. The note there mentions that we will be back in the spring once the weather turns for some landscape touch-up, but majority of the items being tracked right now are punch list. We're down to about 30 items, so just working through those.
Any questions on construction? All right, so we did want to touch base on where we are with the field design. The DD set was complete and it was reviewed at the last building committee meeting, but we were still waiting on some numbers to come back. So we are working through the numbers and working to finalize the construction document package. The construction document package is scheduled to be complete January 21st, and then we'll be looking to talk through the final package and a vote in February. But I'll hand this over to Joel if you want to give an update on where we are at the DD estimate versus where we were at feasibility.
Sure, thanks, Kate. So on the screen there in front of you, we have kind of the first column from the left, 9.6 feasibility at the heading. So the numbers there are the numbers that would have been presented last time around. And the column to the right is the DD estimate. So those are the numbers as of the most recent version of the design as they've progressed. And then the column at the far right is the difference between the two. So as you can see that the cost has risen somewhat, which would be expected kind of as the design progresses. So as of today, we're at total cost of just over $2 million. And we're working as TAPPay works to finalize the design, working to refine those costs and find avenues to kind of reduce those costs where we can, similar to what we did for the budgeting process on the building.
Any questions or comments for Joel?
So a week from Monday, we're gonna have a complete design package and a final price, Joel?
Oh, Joel, you're muted. I think he's having technical.
Yeah, so Jack, yeah, sorry about that. I'm just having a technical difficulty there. So a week from Monday, we'll have the final design.
And with that, you'll have the price?
So that final design will come in. We'll a pricing exercise based on that. So this is based on the DD set of drawings, and that'll result in a final price. Yes.
But right now, it's looking like over $2 million.
Yeah, yeah, for the field work as it currently stands. And like I said, we will be working to kind of reduce those costs where we can.
Are we looking to reduce cost or scope?
I think either. I think both would be on the table.
And also one thing to note, Joel, I don't know if you cut out and said this already or not, but Fontaine is working on getting a check estimate to see if we can get more competitive numbers with going outside the subs on board. So I know, Joel, you guys have reached out to one or two or other companies trying to get some numbers to see where they come in if we take this outside of the filed sub bids and the sub bids that we have on the project.
That's right. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments about the fields?
I don't know if this is the proper time to say this, but if we're talking about reducing scope, I don't think we need press boxes. We don't have the staff often over at that field to run the scoreboards. I don't see us ever having the staff to use press boxes. And I question the dugouts, because the more permanent structures we put in there, the more restrictions we're putting on the use of the fields. So I would suggest those two things are potential ways to reduce the scope.
Thank you, Nancy. Anybody else? Moving on, Kate?
Yep, so we have the December invoice package, which consists of Vertex, TAP A, a bunch of furnishings invoices, a testing invoice, and Fontaine's contract. So the Fontaine rec is, the current amount due is $909,194. They are currently 98% complete with their contract work. The updated budget is included in the vendor invoice package, where we are with reimbursements from the MSBA and submissions. So we're looking for a vote to approve the December invoice package in the amount of $1,332,110.80.
Thanks, Kate. Do we have any questions or comments?
I had a question. There was a certain amount of money that was allocated to doing this design and field work. How much money of that, how much of that we spent?
The design, so we have the contract with TAP A to complete the construction documents, and we're almost at that, so. I don't have what was that dollar amount, Matt? I forget what the ad service was for. Was it 125,000?
That sounds about right. I don't remember what the exact number was, but I think it was somewhere in that range.
Another kind of related question. On the original program, what amount of money was allocated for restoring the fields to their original condition? Do you know that?
For the most part, we had no scope of work in those playing fields. The only scope of work that came about was basically as part of that stockpiling credit that we took. So we basically just restored the outfield area kind of back to the existing conditions that was there previously after the stockpile was removed.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
So there was about $20,000 in feasibility for the field design, and then what, it was 100,000 or so for the DD center. Okay.
Anybody else? Questions or comments? Moving on, Kate?
I think, did we get the vote for
No.
December?
Do we have any other questions or comments about the vendor invoice package? Hearing none, I take a motion to approve.
So moved.
A motion for Ms. Gallivan. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Dr. Kenny. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Frisha,
Yes.
Mr. Barrett. Oh, Mr. Barrett's not here, pardon me. Dr. Kenny,
Yes.
Mrs. Gallivan,
Yes.
Ms. Gaositz,
Yes.
Dr. Goff,
Yes.
Jeff Fisher.
I'm gonna say no, and the reason being is I think we should stop wasting money on this field design.
Okay. Jack Fisher,
Yes.
Dr. Hahn,
Yes.
Mr. Senek,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Did I miss anybody?
Carrie Ruggiero, yes.
Ms. Rosero? Yes?
Yes.
Very good. It is a vote. Next, Kate?
Just communications to and from the MSBA. We haven't heard much from the MSBA, and just the reminder that once we get to the 95% of the estimated grant, the MSBA will be holding the remaining payments. Right now, we're just under 91%, so we're still getting reimbursement. Other business, open discussion.
Anybody have any questions or comments at all about anything?
Can we talk about the schedule going forward and the timing of this meeting? We've never met at 5:30 before. This is not feasible.
We can talk about it. I think at the last building committee meeting, we mentioned talking at 5:30 in case there was any longer discussions, but we can, if 6 o'clock works better for people, we can do 6 o'clock and then,
Separated from the permanent building, that's fine.
yeah.
Does anybody else have any concerns about the meeting times? Would anybody object to a 6 o'clock start?
As long as it's a different night from permanent building, I'm fine.
6 o'clock, Kate, potentially? Okay.
What we can do is if we anticipate that there's gonna be a lengthy discussion, we'll push the PBC out to 7.
Okay.
Another day, but we can talk about that at PBC. Great.
So we have meeting dates on the slide. Does anybody have any questions or comments about those? Any final questions or comments about anything? Hearing none, I would take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion from Jeff Fisher. Do I have a second? Second from Jack Fisher. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Frisha,
Yes.
Dr. Kenny,
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan,
Yes.
Ms. Gaositz,
Yes.
Dr. Goff,
Yes.
Jeff Fisher.
Yep.
Jack Fisher.
Yes.
Ms. Ruggiero,
Yes.
Dr. Hahn,
Yes.
Mr. Senek,
Yes.
and I vote yes. It is a vote. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.